Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I decided that I wanted to do a series of videos called the How To Basics. So I'm going to be doing like How To Basics foundation, concealer, eyeshadow, eyes, lips, things like that. I can also do one for brushes. But yeah, so this video is going to be the first one in the series, the How To Basics foundation. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to apply the foundation, how to make sure it's your correct shade, what to do before you apply foundation, what brushes you can use to blend it out, things like that. So yeah, if you want to learn more on how to get a flawless foundation application, then just keep watching. Okay, first things first, before you apply any foundation, you always want to make sure you start off with a clean base. So you want to make sure that you wash your face, take off any excess makeup that you had on from the day before, or just make sure that your skin is nice and clean. After that, I like to apply a moisturizer. You always want to make sure you moisturize your face because then it'll make your skin plump and make it look smoother. Therefore, when you apply the foundation, it'll look like your skin is more flawless. So the one that I like to use is this one by First Aid Beauty. It's the Ultra Repair Cream. And I just like to apply a little bit, just so then it can get all over the face. I'll also apply it over and under the eyes very gently. You want to make sure you don't pull on your eyes because that creates premature wrinkles. And you also want to make sure that you put a little bit on your neck. When applying anything to your neck, cream wise, you always want to go upwards, so that way then you don't make your neck like start sagging at an early age, if that makes sense. You always want to go upwards. After you apply your moisturizer, you want to let it sit for about 3 to 5 minutes before you go in with anything else. But after moisturizer, before foundation, you want to go in with a primer. You always want to prime your skin before because most of them have a tacky feel to them, so they will stick to the foundation, so the foundation won't slide around, it won't move, it'll stay right where you put it. There are also primers for filling in pores, for mattifying, for smoothing, things like that. So I have a few different ones to show you, and I'm going to explain what they do and how they work. Okay, so the first ones I have are for mattifying. Here I have two. This one is the Makeup Forever Step 1 Equalizer in the mattifying, and then this one is the Soap & Glory One Heck of a Blot Primer. These two, when you apply them to your skin, let's say you're oily or combo, which means you have dry and oily skin, you mostly want to apply this on the T-zone, which is right here. And this will make sure that once your foundation's on for a few hours, none of your oils that your body naturally produces would come through. They would all still be, kept in, I guess. So then your foundation would still look nice and flawless. Next up, I have primers for smoothing. So this one's the NYX Angel Veil Primer. I have the Benefit Professional. This is a mini one. And I also have a mini of the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. What these do is, let's say you have texture right around here like I do. I have a few little bumps. This will glide right over it to make your skin feel softer, smoother, so then you don't see the appearance of the bumps as much. Do they take away the bumps completely? Not really, but they do help. Next up, we have hydrating. So here I have two little samples. This one is the Hangover RX primer, and then this one is the Makeup Forever Step 1 in the hydrating. These, let's say you have dry skin and your skin's flaking, it's cracking, it's not really as hydrated as it could be, you would apply these and let it soak into your skin before you apply your foundation, so that way then once you apply the foundation, your skin won't be cracked and flaked and it'll look smoother. And lastly, I have this primer. This is the Nivea Men Post Shave Balm. Yes, I know it's weird. But this one, honestly, I don't know what it does, but it has like this tackiness to it that it's super sticky once you put it on. So when you put on your foundation over it, your foundation does not move at all. I highly recommend it. I believe it was like $5, maybe $6. I got mine at Target. and it's lasted me forever. So I highly recommend this one. Now, with primers, you can combine a few. Like today I'm going to go in with the One Heck of a Blot primer, which is the mattifying one, and I'm also going to go in with the NYX Angel Veil, which is the one that smooths out your pores and your texture and things like that. So for the mattifying, as you can see, I'm only placing it in the areas where I get oily most, which is right in my T-zone. And once you blend it, it'll spread out a bit, which is also a good thing. And you just want to make sure you cover all the areas where your oils produce the most. And right over that, I'm going to go in with the NYX Angel Veil, and I'm just going to smooth out all my texture. I'm just going to take a little bit like this and apply it right where I have the problem areas. After you apply your primer, you want to go in with foundation. There are a few different kinds of foundation. We have powder foundations. We have liquid foundations. There are also stick foundations. Sadly, I don't own any to show you, but it's basically a cream foundation that comes in a stick form, and you just swipe it on your face and blend it out. But here I'm going to show you the powder foundation. This one's by Tarte. It is the Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Airbrush Foundation. And it looks like this. It comes with a little sifter, which is nice, so the product doesn't go flying everywhere. I also have a few liquid foundations. So I have two of the Born This Way foundation by Too Faced. This one is in natural beige, and this one is in light beige. I also have three of the L'Oreal foundations. This one's in shade 104, this one's 106, and this one is the Pro Glow foundation in 204. So this one's pink undertone, these two are yellow undertone. And I have one of the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundations. This one is in the shade N140, which is neutral 140, which isn't a pink undertone nor a yellow undertone. It's a mix of the both. And I also have a little hand flip thing, like a little sampler of the Tarte Rainforest the Sea foundation. So it comes with 4 shades. These are good for testing out foundations to see what's your right shade. So if you ever get any of these, don't just throw them out because they are useful. You can also test out the foundation as you're testing out the shade, you know, mix them. So then if you want to buy it in person, then you can. Okay, knowing how to find your right shade and your right undertone is not that simple, but it can be simple if you try to apply it to your neck here, because usually your neck matches your body and your face is usually like 1 to 2 shades lighter than your body. So you always want to blend it to your neck so your face matches your neck and body, if that makes any sense. So I actually just tanned, so I'm a little bit darker than usual, which means I don't know if a foundation will match me. Also, another thing, before you apply foundation, you always want to shake them, because most of the time the pigment will sit at the bottom, and then when you squeeze it, the pigment will come out first. So by the time you get to the end of foundation, it will be like liquid and it won't be as good as you think it was. So you always want to shake it. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte in the shade 106. I know this one's one of the darkest ones I own, so I'm going to see if this matches me. So I'm applying a tiny little dot on my hand, and then I am just going to apply it to my neck and blend it out. Okay, as you can see, that one is a tiny bit too dark. It's a little bit darker than my neck. So I'm going to go in with shade 104, which is the next one down that I have. And I'm going to apply this right next to it. Yeah, as you can see, this one's way too light. So I have a feeling if I mix the two of them, it will make my perfect shade. So I am going to go take these swatches off and I will be right back. Okay, after I took that off, I realized that I am a mix of the two. So I'm going to mix them equally, I would say, and then we will see how that works. If you have oily skin, I would recommend going in with a matte foundation like I am here. And if you have dry skin, I would recommend going in with a hydrating foundation, just because It won't make your skin look plump. It won't look super dry. It also won't look cakey or oily. If you go in with a matte foundation and you're dry, it may look like your skin is all cracked, and that's not really what you would want. So I would say see the foundation like what it claims, and test it out from there. Foundation is a thing that's personal to everybody, so make sure that you choose the right one. Go to Sephora or Ulta and ask for little samples, and then try it out within a week or so, and then see what you judge from there. I like to apply my foundation in dots around my face, and then there are different kinds of brushes you can use to blend it out. Normally you would go in with a densely packed brush like this, so like when you hit it, it doesn't really move much. If you want a little bit of lighter coverage, there's densely packed brushes that are a little fluffier. This won't give you the fullest coverage to your potential. So if you have a bunch of spots like I do on my face from acne and scarring and things like that, I go in personally with a denser brush, so it gives me the most coverage possible. You could also blend it out with the Beauty Blender. So this one's the original Beauty Blender and the Pro, which is the black one. I have the Morphe Beauty Blender, and I also have the Real Techniques one. So those you wet under the sink about 15 times so it expands, and then you just dot it around your face. I recommend those more for dry skin people because it hydrates, it puts water back into your skin. I personally like using a brush, so here I have a few options. This one is the Sigma Flat Kabuki F80. I have the Morphe G36. I have the Morphe MB4, which is also angled. I have the Sigma Flat Angled Kabuki F88. And I also have the Morphe G1. This one's a smaller, denser one, so this one will be more for getting into corners like the sides of your nose, up in between your eyebrow and your nose, things like that. But usually for a full face, I would recommend one that's a little wider. And then when you blend out foundation, you want to blend in a downward motion, because this will make the little peach fuzz hairs that you have on your face stick down. So it'll also make your skin look more smooth. Another tip is, once you apply foundation to your face, you always want to blend it down your neck. Not much, but just enough that there's no line from your jawline, like from your face to your neck. There's no like line here showing that you're actually wearing foundation. You just want to put enough to blend it about halfway down your neck. Anywhere you need extra coverage, you can always go in. I always say start with less because less is more, and you just go in the areas directly where you need it. Another tip is, if you are going to be going out where they are going to be using flash photography or a lot of lights, like very bright lights, you want to make sure that you go in with a foundation that does not have SPF. SPF is one of those like things that when you use flash photography, it gives you a white cast, which means your face looks a lot whiter than your body. So you always want to make sure you go in with things that have no SPF, so then your like face still matches your body. Now, let's say you're going to be going to the beach, you're going out into the sun all day. You want to make sure you do use SPF if there's going to be no flash photography, because SPF does protect your skin from the sun, and that's always a good thing. We don't want no skin problems, nothing like that. So there's another tip for you. With powder foundations, you do want to go in as well with a densely packed brush. Usually with this foundation, I would go in with the Morphe G36 just because it's dense, but it's not too dense that it would make me look cakey. So with one of these, what you would do is you would pick it up from the sifter and some product would come up. You tap off the excess and then you just go in and pat it on your face and blend it out. This would set the foundation, add a little more coverage. If you're using it by itself, it's a good way to like for a natural makeup look, because powder foundation, once you apply setting spray, it does sort of, it like the powderiness goes away. Okay guys, these were my tips for how to get the best foundation application and how to make your skin look as nice as possible. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!